Hey guys, Sean here with my brand new My Weight Loss Journey video. This video here is going to be all about maintaining weight loss and how I've maintained my weight loss, how I've, continued to keep the weight off, like what I've done, kind of all about that subject. I haven't done my Weight Loss Journey video in quite a while. Any of you guys, though, who are new to this video, I'll put a link for a playlist below where you guys can see like my entire weight loss journey and how everything went. But if you guys are new to this channel, though, if you guys didn't know, back in June 2014, I weighed 456 pounds. It's hard to believe that I was like, right now I weigh usually in the range of like 190 to 195, like always in that exact range. Like luckily enough I've been able to keep it in there. But like I said, this whole video is all about that. But June of 2014, I got a terrible case of cellulitis. I was always one of those kind of people who never went to the doctors, hated the doctors, I didn't want to know my weight, I just kind of did anything I could to kind of like avoid going. But I got a terrible case of cellulitis, got a temperature of like 104, it was really bad, so I ended up having to go to the hospital, and I ended up having to stay overnight because the cellulitis kept spreading up my leg. It was an awful experience. One of the scariest things I ever went through my entire life. I still have like terrible dreams, thinking about being back in there, but what ended up happening though was when I was in there, in the hospital, I was having these really, and I think it was because I was really, sick, the temperature was so bad as well, but I was having these terrible, like, visions of myself in the future, back in the hospital after having, like, a stroke, or, like, a heart attack, like, really in a terrible way, like, having, like, because I didn't have diabetes or any of that stuff, so I was really lucky that I kind of avoided getting that, but I had terrible high blood pressure and all these kind of problems, but I had terrible visions of myself, like, in the hospital, having, like I said, a stroke or something, and I was kind of like, okay, this is it. I'm tired of being overweight. I'm done with this. And it wasn't just overweight. I was like morbidly obese. And the thing is, I was somebody who was heavy my entire life. I was heavy ever since I was probably around 7 years old. I remember like I just kept on putting on weight. I was always somebody who was so heavy. I was always somebody who had all kinds of problems in school. I was somebody who couldn't really do anything when it came to sports and stuff. So it's like it was really bad, and just the weight just kept on going up and up and up. And I had every problem in the book, like sleep apnea. I'd wake up at night gasping for air. It was horrible. So like that's pretty much kind of when I decided, though, after I was in the hospital with cellulitis, I decided, I'm going to lose the weight, and I ended up putting myself on like a 1,500 calorie a day diet when that was like all I would eat a day. And then I, in the very beginning, I started swimming every single night, laps back and forth, and that helped me lose like the first, I think, like 50 pounds. Then when I lost that 50 pounds, then I started going to the gym. Then I was going to the gym 4 nights a week, and I was like eventually led up to doing 2 hours, and I was doing the treadmill, like, and build up the incline. So I was burning like 2,000 some calories, something like that. And then I was only eating 1,500. So the weight, was coming off very quickly. I cut out sodas, still don't drink sodas, but that was pretty much, what I did. And like I said, I have a whole video, a playlist below that kind of goes into full detail all about, what I had done throughout the way. And you see early videos and all that throughout the whole process. And the thing I think that's really important to mention to you guys when it comes to weight loss, if you guys are ready to lose weight, the thing to really keep in mind is don't do it unless you're to the point in your life where you know that it's something that you're going to be able to fully commit to. Because, see, losing weight, that's one thing, but it's one of the idea of actually losing the weight isn't the hardest part as it is keeping the weight off. And that's why I said why I'm doing this video about maintaining your weight, because the thing is, like, it's like you're on a diet and all that to lose the weight, but it really isn't a diet as much as it's a whole new way of life. And the problem is, when you do lose all the weight, the whole biggest thing is trying to maintain that weight and not gain the weight back. And that's the hardest step, and that's something that you have to fully commit yourself to. So like if you're going to the gym, you will have to continue going to the gym. And you can't lose all the weight and be like, okay, I'm done. I've lost the weight. Everything's finished. I mean, everything's great. Everything's perfect. Because, like, to be honest, it's not. And luckily enough that I've been able to learn that I have to continue to go to the gym. And also, like, if I don't go to the gym, I kind of feel bad. Like, I don't feel good if I don't do it, and I start to kind of feel like terrible from not going. And I think I just kind of got so used to doing it so used to being really aware to the calories and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, just make sure though, if you are, new to, to trying to lose weight and that's something that you want to do, just make sure you're ready to commit to knowing that you're going to do the journey, you're going to lose the weight, but then you're going to have to continue on with it and not think though that I'm done, because like I said, it's just the beginning. And if you're not finished at that point, the biggest hassle and the biggest, thing is to being able to maintain the weight and to continue on with like the habits that you've learned and the things that you learned with, continuing to maintain your weight. Now with me, the things that I do to maintain my weight is, like I had mentioned earlier, is the gym. The gym is a really good thing for me, something that I, like I said, I really enjoy doing. There's times though when I'm in there and I'm like, oh, this can be rather boring, or it's like repetitive, but like, at the gym, like I put things on the TV and like watch movies and stuff, and like that really helps, kind of keep going and do it, because I do it for an hour and 40 minutes, and I do, like I said, a really high incline, and I've really worked my way up to that. But originally though, I was usually doing the high incline, but I wasn't going that fast. I was only going like 3.0. I've been working up more, more and more now to like 4.6, 4.5, 4.6, and then like I do get up to 4.7 at some points, and then like I've been like eventually maybe I'll get up to 5. Hopefully I can just keep going up. I've been like really working at that. I can become like a serious sweaty mess after that, but it's weird. I feel a lot better doing it, after I've done, like I said. But, the one thing, too, though, to keep in mind, though, is, the days that you do go to the gym, I always eat a little bit more. So I'm like, I get, like, the yogurt that day. And I feel like, because of all that, you can definitely eat a little bit more those days. But only if you're going to be burning, like, a high amount of calories. Because I usually burn... and I know when you hold on, though, you don't burn exactly that amount, but what it says is like usually like 2,800 to like a little over 3,000 calories that I burn. So I kind of subtract a lot off of that and go, I think I burned maybe 2,000. You know what I mean? Like because it's like, they always say too, when you're holding on, you're not burning that amount. So I always subtract a lot off. So I don't know for certain. And one thing I've learned too is when you do a higher speed like that, you definitely do a lot more sweating. And I was just sort of drinking water originally, but I've started drinking Powerade Zero, which is a 0-calorie Powerade, and that has like electrolytes and stuff. And I definitely feel a lot better drinking that. So I would definitely recommend, if you guys are doing, like a higher, speed and stuff like that on the treadmill, to do, to drink Powerade or Gatorade or one of those kind of things. So they definitely seem to help. But don't get the ones with calories, because some of them are really high calories. Definitely stick to the 0 one, because you definitely feel like you're kind of drinking 300 calories of drink. I would not want to do that after doing all that at the gym. And when it comes to food, though, I do like to try and shake it up here and there and have different stuff. But I do, like, a lot of the time eat the same stuff. Like, I eat, like, these beans that I put these vegetarian hot dog things into. I eat these potatoes a lot. I like stuff too when I know the calories, like where I can really figure it out. And like, even though I probably wouldn't have to fully keep track of the calories of things, I like to, just because I'm so used to it, and I like to really know what I'm eating, just to kind of have an idea. And I really think that's been a key to me, with me, for maintaining the weight, is kind of keeping track of everything that I'm eating. But I do like to here and there add in new things and different kind of stuff. I end up getting, every so often, like Blaze Pizza, and I, those kind of places, you can look up the calories, and they range from like 700 to 800 calories or so per the pizza, like the individual ones. But I wouldn't mess around and get like a Domino's, one of those really big ones and stuff. And like certain foods too, I wouldn't get, that like remind me of when I was really heavy, like certain things like Taco Bell and stuff, which I used to eat like every single night of the week, and that kind of stuff. I would definitely, like, I don't want anything to do with some of that, and like chips and certain things I just really stay away from, because like they really remind me too much of my heaviest, and Oreos, when I would eat like a whole sleeve of Oreos and stuff like that. So that stuff I really don't bother with. I don't get it all. But it is good though to find different things here and there to try and to eat, and I think that's really important too with maintaining your weight. I also go and have things like this, like these Butter Buds sprinkle stuff, which is like a butter substitute, which is very similar tasting to butter, and it's only for 1 teaspoon is 10 calories. And of course, though, you know me, I like PB2, which is a powdered peanut butter, and it's like per serving for, 1 serving is only 45 calories, and I have the chocolate one, and I have the regular peanut butter, because, if you had a small amount of regular peanut butter, true peanut butter, it'd be like 250 calories, so definitely would recommend, PB2 do. It's something I've, had since the entire weight loss journey. And these are the kind of things, like I said, is finding like substitutes and stuff like this you can have, so you can have like the kind of stuff that you do like without having all the calories of like regular butter or regular peanut butter. One thing though I've learned though when it comes to like eating and things that I eat and stuff is I've learned though there's certain things though that I cannot have around, and I really don't want to have them in the house, or if other people have them they put them in their own section so I don't mess around with them, or I know those are theirs, I don't eat them, I don't touch them, because I've learned though, and and it kind of something that never goes away is sort of stress eating, and certain kind of food items, if you have them, you're kind of like, I gotta eat them, they're here, you know what I mean, and then you think about them, so it's better like if you really want like a candy bar to get like a single candy bar, like one small one. Or like one thing I've learned though is I never can get like those bags of candy, like the Halloween kind of bags of candy, or like those little truffle candies or things like that. Like I can't get those kind of things, because those are the kind of things where you could eat them and keep eating them, and like I just know, don't mess around with them. I don't do good with them. I don't want them at least to know that they're mine, so I don't mess around with them at all. Like if you want something like a donut or something, don't, even if it's like a deal for like 6, don't get the 6, doesn't matter, just get the 1 or the 1 or 2, you know what I mean? Or it's like they go, oh, you can get 12 for this. Don't do that to yourself, because they're there, you're going to eat them. At least that's what I've learned, is just get 1, just get 2. That's the better way to do it. Same with things like cereal. I don't want to have a whole box, a whole giant cereal bag thing like that. I don't mess with that, because then I'm thinking I could get too much, or I could keep filling the bowl up. So I like to get the little individual cereal cups. Those ones are like measured out. They have the amount of calories. Sometimes I take those usually to the movies. I feel like, to me, I do much better with those individual ones. They don't have to kind of think about like if I'm going to go and keep filling it up. And at least for me, I've learned that like that's my way to do it. And one thing with people too, when it comes to like, eating, I think that one place where people can get really derailed is like things like for holidays or birthday parties or like events and stuff. And the thing is, like, let's say like for Thanksgiving, don't think, oh, I can't, how it's going to be a problem, I can't eat this. What you can do is you can have the food there, but you take a tiny bit. You want like the potatoes and that kind of stuff, you take a little serving of it. You want like some of the pie, you take a tiny little shrivel or a little small amount of it. Or you go, okay, I'm going to eat this pie and then this, and that's all I'm going to eat. You know what I mean? Like if you can do that, you have the ability to, commit to something like that, where you're going to be like, oh, because like technically you could be like, if you were going like to the Cheesecake Factory and you were like, oh, I've got to have that cheesecake. I just want to eat that cheesecake. You could technically go to the Cheesecake Factory and just eat a piece of cheesecake and nothing else. And like, a side salad with light dressing or something. But I mean, or just a cheesecake and go, oh, I'm going to use up, 1,300 calories just on that cheesecake. And then later at night, I'm going to have a TV dinner and something else, depending on how many calories, you're eating a day. So, I mean, you could do that. But then you use up a whole lot of calories just on a piece of cheesecake. But that kind of stuff is possible. So don't think that, you could like be like, I can't go there, or I can't do this, or the holidays, I don't know what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep eating and stuff. Or if like someone has like a pizza for a pizza party and stuff like that, you just take one piece of it. And if you're like really worried about certain kind of foods, just like throw it away. Like if you have too much something left over and you're going to eat it or something, give it to somebody else. Or give it to a food bank or something like that, but just don't get it out of your house, get it out of your life if it's going to really stress you out too much. Because I've done that kind of stuff. If there's certain things, if I know I have it to eat or something, then you kind of think about it a whole lot. So you kind of know that these kind of habits always sort of exist around you. It's going to be something you kind of always deal with. It's all about finding your ways of managing it and kind of what works for you and the way you kind of go and handle it. Because, like, with me, stress eating was always a big thing. And a lot of times, too, when I felt like I was eating, like, I don't know, it just was sort of like I was just eating to eat and wasn't really thinking about it. Like, now with me, when it comes to eating, I'm kind of always thinking about it. Even if it's a day, like, if I get, like, yogurt and stuff like that, I would be getting the yogurt, and then I wouldn't get, like, if I got it, like, during the day, like, at lunchtime or something, then I would eat, like, a small little TV dinner that's, like, 230 calories or something later, and then eat dinner later. And then, like, I wouldn't go and get the yogurt, like our big yogurt, and then go and get like a full meal and then have a full dinner. You kind of, like I said, you can do these things, but you kind of have to kind of know how you're going to do it and kind of keep track on all these kind of things, because stress eating and stress is always going to be around. There's really no way to get rid of stress. It's just something that everyone deals with. And it's all about, knowing how you're going to handle it and kind of finding ways too, where if say you're having one of those really bad stress attacks where you're like, where stress eating is, have things things like rice cakes and things like pickles and stuff like that that's like really low calorie, where if you're going to go and take a handful of something, you're not really going to add up a whole ton of calories. And that's kind of like a really good trick. Or like even like those popcorns, like they have light popcorns and stuff like that that are like the whole bag's like 100 something calories, something like that. Get stuff like that, where if you're gonna have a problem or a really bad stress going on, you go to that and you don't go to a whole thing of Oreos and eat like a full sleeve of Oreos. And then like, you know, if you want something like ice cream, you know, you can get like, they have like Halo ice cream, and those are like, the whole carton is like 300, from like 280 calories to like 330 calories, something like that. And because as opposed to eating a whole thing of Haagen-Dazs, which is like 1,000+ calories. So you can go to things like that too. If you really like ice cream and you want something like that, you can get that, and then you could eat the whole carton. Whereas opposed, like I said, if you ate a whole thing of Haagen-Dazs, you'd be eating a ton of calories. Sometimes they're like, they're 1,300 calories, depending on like what's in them and stuff like that. So like I said, it's all about having something too, where if you're gonna have stress problems with eating, you have things that are low calorie or not a bad choice to go to, and you kind of like get used to things like that. And the thing is with me too, with weight loss, it's one of those kind of things where sometimes I forget about like that I've lost all the weight. Like, and I think it's kind of like, it's like how you see yourself. And sometimes I have to be honest, like I don't see myself the way I really am at times. And like, say if I am like at the yogurt place getting yogurt, I feel like I'm this fat guy getting this yogurt. Or if I'm like eating somewhere, that's why you don't see me eating too much in videos. I don't like showing it too much, because I'm a little weird about the whole thing. I'm really weird with the whole subject of food, and I think that's kind of something that I'm always going to have to sort of deal with, and the sort of how I view myself, and how like, because sometimes I'm just so used to when I was so heavy going in places and being like the heaviest person, having kids say stuff like their parents about how big I was, or like, just look at that big guy mine. I mean, I've went through so many things, going places not fitting in the booth and all this kind of stuff. So all that kind of stuff is always in the back of my mind. It's always something that I kind of remember, that I kind of think about, and you know, it's just sort of how you're going to deal with it. And little by little, I get a little better with that. But it is always something that to me, I always, you know, I'm thinking about. I still have bad dreams about being heavy and like gaining the weight back. And I, you know, some of my dreams are like me eating like a full pie or doing something bad. And then I don't know, that's kind of, it's a weird thing with me, you know, with food and everything, because it's like you have to eat, but at the same time it does kind of freak you out a little bit. And that's like why I did this whole video all in the subject of like maintaining weight, because like I said, that's a very important thing. It's a very important thing to me. You know, my goal in life is to be able to stay around this range, and you know, and never have to worry about being heavy again. But you know, you're always gonna have to worry about it, but kind of know that I know the ways to continue to maintain and stay at that proper, you know, the weight that I am now. So that's kind of my whole thing. And let me know below too if what you guys have done, if any of you guys have been, you know, losing weight, or you know, have been maintaining weight, any of your things that you do. But anyway though, thanks so much guys for watching. And like I said, if you guys want to see some of my other videos all about, you know, my weight loss journey, I'll have a playlist below and you guys can see like the whole thing and everything I did from the beginning. I kind of went through everything throughout the year and a half that I was heavy, you know, doing it to get the weight down to where it is now. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching, subscribing, and I'll see you guys later.